Hi, I'm Daniel from LIGO.co.uk and this is the Roberts Revival Uno BT Portable DAB Radio. Roberts are one of the most popular radio brands in the UK and have been for the last 70 odd years. The Revival series is the centrepiece of their range and the Uno BT is one of the more recent models in this line. Does it live up to their reputation? Let's take a look. A key part of the Roberts appeal has always been their iconic look. The basic design of the Revival dates all the way back to 1956 and it hasn't changed all that much in the decades since then. Inside there's a wooden frame which is then wrapped in an eco leather casing. With the Uno BT, that's available in 8 different colours. I've got the sunburst yellow here, but there's also duck egg blue, teal, deep green, dusky pink, cream, dove grey and black. The Uno BT is slightly smaller than its sibling models, the Revival RD70 and Revival iStream, but not dramatically so. We're only talking a few inches here, unlike the seriously shrunk down Roberts Revival Petite. The speaker grille doesn't stand out quite so much on this particular colour because it's gold on yellow, but it is a bit more noticeable on other colours, as is the gold Roberts logo on the front. The one area where this radio does differ from older Roberts models is the control panel on the top. There's a screen which displays the signal strength and what station you're listening to, along with 2 knobs, one for turning it on and off and adjusting the volume, and one for tuning and selecting stations. There's a bit of button pressing to be done when changing modes and adjusting settings, but it's all pretty intuitive, and the instructions are a bit better than most as they take you through everything step by step. So the Revival Uno BT looks the part, but doesn't have the sound quality to match. We're pleased to report that the Roberts engineers have done a great job of getting a strong sound profile out of a relatively compact speaker system. In keeping with the look of the radio, they've imbibed it with a nice warm tone that harks back to the golden age of the wireless. In particular, it's great for speech content, so if you like a bit of Radio 4 or listening to podcasts, you'll be pleased with this radio. Given that it's quite a bit smaller than some other DAB radios, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Uno BT can't go all that loud. However, we were pleasantly surprised with the max volume of the Uno BT. If you want something that you could listen to while you clean a whole floor of your house, then you'd probably be better off with something a bit larger. However, for a medium-sized living room speaker, this is a great shout, especially since it can go all the way up to full volume without any audible distortion. As for features, at its heart, the Revival Uno is still a radio, with DAB and FM modes, as well as DAB Plus compatibility to help keep it future-proof. You can save station presets, which is especially handy given just how much choice there is nowadays when it comes to DAB stations. Saving these presets is really straightforward. Just tune into the station you want to save, press and hold the preset button, and a little tick will pop up to show you that it's saved. These presets are then stored in a separate menu where there's space for up to 30 DAB stations and a further 30 FM stations. And if you've got a particular station that you listen to more than others, there's also a one-touch favourite button, which works in essentially the same way, but recalls the station without having to go through that menu. Other than the size, the main thing that used to mark out the Uno series from other Revival radios was its lack of Bluetooth connectivity. However, the Uno BT now has that. It's what the BT stands for in its name, and it means you can connect up your smartphone or tablet to listen to your own choice of music or podcasts. And if you've got a device you want to listen to through the Uno that doesn't have Bluetooth, there's also an aux-in port on the top, as well as a headphone jack if you want some private listening. The Uno BT is also portable. It doesn't have a built-in rechargeable battery, but it does have the advantage of just taking standard AA batteries, so you don't need to shell out the £30 or so for a separate battery pack that you need to do with the likes of pure radios. Roberts claim that the Revival Uno BT can get up to 25 hours of listening. Obviously this depends on the specific batteries you're using and the volume you're listening at, but in practice we found it got about 20 hours reliably before we needed to recharge. And finally, the Uno BT would also make a good choice for a bedside DAB radio, as it includes dual alarms, snooze control, and even a sleep timer function if you like to listen to the radio as you drift off. However, some people might be put off by the fact that the screen is on the top, as it means you can't just look at the radio and tell the time at a glance. It's also worth mentioning that the alarm modes can only be used when the radio is plugged in, so that the battery doesn't run out overnight and you miss your alarm. So there we have it, the Roberts Revival Uno BT, an updated version of a truly classic radio. To find out more, or to get your hands on one for yourself, go to LIGO.co.uk.